and scared though. Our dogs are scared because there's fireworks going on, so you know, I felt like I was one of the dogs now. And so my husband had just came down the hall, and I told him, you know, I'm scared, what's going on? And so he went and looked outside, and we didn't see anything, and then that's when we noticed the hole and the stuff on the floor from the entry. And so I decided to go and talk to neighbors and see if they had heard or seen anything. I was really angry immediately because someone put my family in jeopardy, and I'm still not thinking it was a bullet. And then when I started saying it out loud, what happened, I realized there's no way fireworks are going to come through your ceiling. So we came back, and or I came back and looked around the floor with my husband, and we found the bullet under our dining room table. So then when I think about the noise and what I heard, you know, there was just the pop and the sound just ricocheting around. So it was just something you're not expecting, you're not used to hearing. So I think that's why my mind couldn't go there immediately and know what really happened. But it was very scary.
And did you guys tell the police at some point?
We did, yeah. The next day, yeah, we had the incident reported.
Yeah.
Talk about that evening. What was the neighborhood like? What did you see? What did you hear inside? But what was it like going on outside?
There was a really, you know, really nice. It's a really nice neighborhood. All our neighbors are very friendly and nice, so that's why I felt really comfortable talking to them. A lot of people were out front of their homes to watch the fireworks, and so I was able to, you know, just walk right up and ask people what they had heard. But everybody was just, you know, having a good time, kind of in their pajamas out front, you know, celebrating at home. I think the whole idea was to feel safe at home, you know, everybody that I saw. And then there was a lot of fireworks going on, and yes, I think people were letting off fireworks in the neighborhood, and so that's definitely dangerous.
Did you hear any difference between what you thought might be firearms or fireworks?
So I didn't hear anything different myself. I wasn't, I feel like I was taking time off. I was just relaxing and hearing the pop, pop, bang, bang. I can't tell the difference, to tell you the truth. But neighbors that I talked to, when I had come down the road and asked them what they'd seen or heard, they said they heard 4 gunshots around the same time that the bullet entered my house. We assume that is related.
And what time was that?
It was approximately 12:10, so it wasn't right after 12. I mean, close, but.
Have you heard about anything similar like that happening in this neighborhood? Or people firing their guns?
Well, I mean, the police officer that came here told me that there was some incident involving somebody firing guns nearby here. He didn't tell me much more than that, though. But and I did read about a story that was in Manor that somebody was firing rounds, a teen. So I think that it's happening, and unfortunately, you know, people don't realize that when those bullets get shot up in the air, that they're gonna come down, and that's why I had let my neighbors know, made some awareness about the situation beyond reporting it to the police, because you know, just a little bit in a little bit different place in the house, or a little bit different, you know, direction the bullet came, somebody in my house could have been hurt seriously. And you should feel safe at home. And I didn't feel safe all night after that.
What was your immediate reaction? I mean, at first you didn't think it was a bullet, but
I was
surprised. You said you were angry.
My immediate reaction was anger, actually, because I want to feel safe at home, and somebody intruded in my safety, my security, And I'm protective of my child, first of all. So that is what got me fired up. But luckily, you know, no one got hurt. So after anger was confusion, shock, disbelief, especially after realizing that it's a bullet that came into my house.
And right at midnight, were you on the couch? Were you watching television?
Right. I was right here, on the couch, on this side of the couch, so very close to where the bullet entered.
Mm-hmm. Point that out?
Yes, it's right here. It came through. Okay, honey.
And you said you didn't feel safe that night. Do you feel safe now?
I think, yeah, I'm starting to, you know, feel comfortable in my house again. But I will say that the realization that anything can happen within the walls of your own home, that your security can be taken away within a second, you know, this is a reality check that I didn't think I would, you know, face. So I don't know, I just wasn't expecting that. And so it has changed my perception of safety. And how do you protect yourself from that is the big question. What can I do to protect myself from that?
Anything to say to people that were firing firearms that night? Maybe your neighbors?
I really want people to know that when they do that, when they fire these guns into the air, that they are putting people's lives at risk. How would you feel? How would you sleep at night if knowing that you might have killed someone even, not only injured? I mean, a family, a little baby, anybody. It's just unacceptable.
Officer, your message to the community?
Right. So we have similar incidents, whether it's 4th of July, and there are reported throughout the city. In every community, there's always people who violate the law, who have firearms, and in celebratory, they fire them up in the air. And we've had instances here in Austin where a child and adult had been struck by a stray bullet. So it's extremely dangerous, and I think this incident just magnifies the dangers involved, and that we hope that people who are celebrating just are cognizant that if they're outside, it could happen to them, and those who decided to fire their firearm in a public place, they're violating the law. There's several penalties, crimes, conduct, firing a firearm in a certain municipality that has over 100,000, a population over 100,000 is a Class A. But then it's also deadly conduct if you point it at a house, at a vehicle, at a person. That's a felony. So there's a lot of dangers involved, and I just wish we can share more awareness and to discourage the behavior.
What can the public do if they notice someone in their community is firing fire? Who do they call?
Well, this incident and these types of incidents are very difficult for law enforcement. But the most important thing is to report it, 911, and just advise the operator that you hear what sounds like to be gunshot. And more than not, other residents, other neighbors will call in as well. And it's important to give your location and where you think the sound came from, whether it came from the east, south, or north, or west. That way officers can respond and start to investigate, because if they did it once, they'll probably do it again in a few minutes, half an hour. So we'll have officers in the area and they can monitor and hear it, and hopefully trap and catch the guys who are doing it.
In this case, was a person found?
No. An officer came, collected the bullet, took photos, and it's going to be forwarded to a detective. It's just very difficult for us to catch the person who shot.
What type of weapon was it?
I don't have that information, I'm sorry.
I mean, how do you really catch someone like that?
Well, if there's evidence on the bullet, now it's very important for us to catch the shell casings. In those incidents, there'll be fingerprints. But with the bullet itself, it's going to be very difficult unless we have ballistics in the past with a similar firearm being used.
You mentioned that so there have been incidents where people and children were struck by stray bullets in Austin. When and where did that happen?
So just from my of my head, I remember about 2 years ago, I think there was a female sitting at a 6th Street, and a bullet came and struck. It was on New Year's as well, and then I believe on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, there was a child playing in East Austin this past year, and she was shot in the ankle, and we believe it was a stray bullet as well. And then, of course, the story that happened in Houston. You know, so it's happens in our community. It happens in every major city, and I believe there are some politicians who want to make celebratory gunfire illegal in all Texas. So.
And I want to make sure I understand where everyone was in the house when or about when you think it happened, because well, so the noise, right? So you guys do know when it happened. You just didn't know it was a bullet at the time.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So one more time, where everyone was in the house.
I was right here. My baby was asleep in this room over here, and my husband was just coming down the hallway.
Yeah, and so you saw the debris fall through.
The debris was on the floor. Yes. So we have a door, and I heard the dog door, when the pop happened, I heard the dog door swoosh like wind. So I actually initially thought that something came through the doggy door, because the power of the bullet. Yeah. That's why it was very confusing. And I think anything that comes overhead is you know, you don't think about that first. To be this close to a bullet, it did educate me about how fast a situation can change, and how people just can be unaware of what's going on, which is scary.
Will you be getting that repaired, and what do you think about it when you look at that?
So my family came to visit, and they're going to help us repair it. My parents are here. So I'm not too angry, actually, about the damage, to tell you the truth. I'm angry that someone, you know, put our lives in jeopardy.
When you heard about the woman in Houston, how did you feel after that?
I feel very sad that happened, because I can completely see how that could happen. Could have happened here in this neighborhood. There were people standing out front of their homes. So likewise, you know, you go outside, you hear the fireworks, everyone's maybe banging and pans. Shouldn't be shooting bullets. So her story is devastating for her family, obviously. I mean, it's just, like I said, it happens so fast. The situation changes so fast, and that's so scary and so unfortunate. Because I read that she passed at 12:01 or got struck at 12:01, so I think that was terrible.
Anything else you'd like to say?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I personally asked all the questions that I wanted to ask. Yeah, thank you again for inviting us into your home.
Yeah.
I think this does educate people in a real way that who might not have thought much about firing a bullet into the air, and will hopefully.
Right.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And then I think we have another crew outside.
Yeah.
So, do you want to take a quick 5 minutes, get some water? Or?
Yeah, probably. And come here, baby. He might have to.
Hey there, everyone. Will Dupree here in the KXAN live studio. You were listening to an interview that a woman in East Austin was doing with an Austin police officer sitting to her left, talking about a stray bullet that came through her roof just after midnight on New Year's Day. Presumably from celebratory gunfire, as midnight happened here in Austin. Someone shot into the air, and that's what police and this woman believe happened. One of those bullets came down, went through her roof, and it almost struck that woman there. You may have heard her young child sitting there. They kind of passed her, the little baby, off to the officer at one point, but that baby was sleeping not too far from where she was sitting there on the couch. You may have also noticed our photographer who was in the room was panning upward at several points during the interview, and you could see just a little indentation on the roof there, and that is reportedly where the bullet came from. We have some video that we pulled from our story that aired last night about this very situation, and you can see in some of those shots where the bullet reportedly came in. If you take a look here, the bullet came through there, and then they have it right there sitting on the counter. You can see there's a little bit of damage to the ceiling as well. The woman there is saying that she wanted to speak out because these things happen. People, for some reason, decide to fire bullets into the air after midnight or during special moments. And this is what happens. She says that this is a circumstance of that. And some of you on Facebook, we're live there right now, are saying, that what goes up must come down. And again, this is that situation where it could have been much worse. This was a very scary close call. That woman was sitting just maybe a foot away from where the bullet came down through the roof. And she wanted to share some her experience with people and ask people to kind of keep that in mind as they're thinking about maybe doing something like that. The police are also saying that it was going to be difficult to catch whoever did this unless that bullet had some kind of DNA or other evidence on it. Presumably they're going to be testing that, but again, they are saying and not hopeful that they'll catch whoever did that. Really, this is more of a public service announcement that, please, this is the effect of doing that, going outside and firing a gun into the air. This is what could happen. And as that woman said, she was okay, but it could have been much worse. And maybe that's the moral of this story, and to keep in mind as we all are celebrating the new year and other holidays in the future, just keep that in mind. Well, we thank you all for watching, and we apologize for any of the poor feed, the glitchy look on the feed there. It might have been just because there were several media outlets there gathered, so that might have affected the signal that was brought back and that we got to share with you all. Thank you all for watching our live feed. We're going to be coming back at 3 p.m. with another press conference from Austin Police. This is about a shooting that happened at a club on 6th Street on New Year's Eve, and we'll be bringing you that as soon as we can live, and we'll jump back on here. Once again, thank you all for watching. We appreciate that, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.